Okay, hi, I'm Dana, and I own, with my husband, Little Dub Farm. See my shirt? Little Dub Farm. We are in Fort Worth, Texas, and I wanted to make these videos. I'm calling it the realities of micro dairy farming. I made some notes because I tend to talk too long if I don't stick to my notes. So I made notes, so if you see me looking down there, that's what I'm doing, but that's just so I won't keep you here forever. Okay, today I want to tell you that how we got started. Let's see, probably 2011 or 12, we started, well, we'd always been interested in raw milk. We just interested in what was good about it, why do we pasteurize milk, what is the history of milk, history of pasteurization, all that. I looked into all that, and that came from a desire to eat healthy, to eat more wholesome, and what everybody's looking for right now, less processed, more real whole food. So that's what led me to raw milk and to find out about it. Everything I found out, which I might talk about in another video, but led me to believe that in the right conditions, raw milk can be a superfood, not just good, but great. So we'd always been interested in raw milk. We tried raw milk the first time. My husband had been on a business trip to Houston, Texas, and he passed a small raw milk dairy, and he stopped there and got some cow milk and goat's milk, and he brought it home, and we tried both, and we decided we liked cow milk the best. So there's nothing wrong with goat's milk. A lot of people drink it. A lot of people love it. It's more expensive than cow's milk because goats don't produce as much. So anyway, we decided to go with cow milk. And so every time he would make that trip, he would bring back some raw milk. And we loved it. Well, then I heard through a friend that there was a co-op close to me where I could just run and pick it up every 2 weeks and order as much as I needed and all that. And so we did that for a while, and we just fell in love with it, did not want to go back to store-bought milk at all. Once you try it, it is the richest, most delicious milk you'll ever taste. It is different than store-bought milk. It's even different than like Brahms or Borden. Like the highest quality store-bought milk really doesn't compare to good, fresh, raw Jersey milk. We started buying through the co-op and did that for probably a year or so, and my husband, who you don't know him, but if you did, you would know that he does not do anything halfway. He does everything all in with all fours. Both feet, in other words. I don't know why I said all fours. He jumps in with both feet and does everything to the extreme. So he said to me one day, he said, we could do this. We could milk our own cow and have our own milk, and it would be the freshest of the fresh. And I was like, okay, do we really want to do that? I mean, it's a huge commitment. I mean, I knew a little bit about it from the research I'd done, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. So he did have some hands-on experience. He had grown up helping his uncle in Missouri on his commercial dairy farm, so he did have some hands-on experience, and so that helped, that he knew a little bit about what he was doing. So we got our barn set up, and here we go, start looking for a Jersey cow. He looked on Craigslist, and praise God, we found a small dairy farm in Crum, Texas that was going out of business. These people had been milking cows for 15 years, and they were just ready to retire. So that's the best way to find your cow. If you're looking for a cow, for a family cow, or to start a small dairy farm, you don't want to buy a cow that somebody's getting rid of and they're staying in business, because they're getting rid of that cow for a reason, and you might not, they may not be forthcoming with that reason. It might be a problem for you. So the best place to find your cow is a small dairy farm, small raw milk dairy farm that is going out of business, which that's very hard to find. So I admit, it's very hard to find. It was a miracle that we found it. So we go and we found Polly, beautiful dark brown Jersey cow. She was lovely, just beautiful and sweet, gentle, just awesome. She was, we got her in August and brought her home, and she calved in October. And that was good because we had time to get to know her, to get our hands on her, bring her in the barn and all that. So that was good. This was not her first cow. She was not a heifer, so that was good, and she was dry. Those are three good points. I hope that you, if you're looking for a cow to milk yourself, that you will remember those three things. Heavy bred, not a heifer, and dry. That's what you want. So she gave 8 to 10 gallons a day. She weaned off to 6, but she gave 10 at one point and then down to 8. That's all way too much milk. You cannot consume that much milk, just one family. That's a lot. 8 to 10 gallons every single day. So we decided to get licensed to sell milk, basically in self-defense, because there was so much milk we didn't know what to do with it. You can't make that much cheese. You can't consume that much cheese, cottage cheese, and all that. So we got licensed to sell. Then the word got out. We did a little bit of advertising, and I mean a little. We didn't have a Facebook page. I barely made a website. I advertised on realmilk.com and Local Harvest. And I got calls like crazy mainly because we're in Fort Worth and most dairy farms are way outside of Fort Worth. So we are literally 10 minutes from Fort Worth, Texas. So, we're not in Fort Worth proper, but we are 10 minutes from Fort Worth. So that made our location really ideal, and there's a lot of people who want raw milk. So when the word got out, guess what? 8 to 10 gallons a day was not enough. We had people lined up at 6 o'clock in the morning waiting for our milk, taking it home hot. Sometimes there'd be too many people here and not enough milk. I was out all the time. So that's what led us to get our second cow. So there we are. We got, we're milking 2 cows now. Soon we're doing an expansion and we'll be milking 4 cows before long. Pretty much every drop we can produce, we can sell. I mean, there's never enough when you're licensed to sell and you're doing a little bit of advertising. So 3 points that I really want you to hear from me if you're looking for a cow, for a family milk cow, or to start a small dairy. You want to buy one that is heavy bred. That means she's at least 7 months along. And the point of that is that she's dry. If a cow is pregnant for 9 months, just like a person, the last 2 months of their pregnancy, the farmer dries them up so all their body can concentrate on growing the baby the last 2 months. And so you want a cow that's heavy bred and dry. You want dry because you do not buy a cow that you have to bring home and milk that day. Don't do it. Especially if you've never milked a cow before. If you're experienced, like we could do it now, but I would not, do not do it. If you've never milked a cow before, don't bring a cow home that you have to milk that day. Just don't do it. It's a disaster. And don't buy a heifer. Polly was heavy bred, dry, and she was not a heifer. If you've never milked a cow before, you do not want to buy a heifer because they're not trained, they're not conditioned. You don't know what they're going to do when you get their head locked down. They're going to poop a lot and pee a lot in the barn when you're trying to milk them, which is very unsanitary. You don't want that. And they're going to kick at you, and that's not safe. So you want a cow that's, for your first cow, heavy bred, dry, not a heifer. So remember those 3 things, and you won't have a disaster on your hands. Just when you get that cow home, just get your hands on her, get her in the stanchion with her head locked down, feed her what you're going to feed her every single day, what you're going to do with her. When you start milking her, do that, and then she'll have the baby. You can start milking. It's a smooth transition, and she already knows your program. So, okay. Anyway, that's the way we got started. 2013 is when all that happened, and so here it is, 2016, and we're still going, expanding, and loving every minute of it. Even though it is a huge commitment, even though you can't just jump up and go on vacation whenever you want to, you have to plan that out. You have to be home at, every 12 hours. You have to milk the cows. There's some exceptions to that, and you can do some things, but really, on your first cow, keep it simple. Follow those 3 points: heavy bred, dry, not a heifer, and you'll have a great time.